Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Someone Had to Say It. And I have one of my favorite guests back on, Erica Etten from a littlenudge.com. And, like I was just telling you, you know the drill. We've done this before. We talk about everything, especially love dating, online dating, which is a huge topic. And I've got my list of questions for
I'm
you.
ready. I'm ready with answers. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And for those that don't know Erica, she is, as I call her, the online dating guru. She is who you want to go to when, you've got online dating questions and profile questions and what to post and what not to post and what to say and what not to say.
Maybe
And
more importantly, what not to say.
right. So we'll start with that. What's going on with online dating? Anything new? Any new tricks or things people need to know? Any new cool apps, websites?
No new cool apps, although Hinge just added a feature where you could leave like a voice message in your profile. So Bumble has always had the feature where you could leave a voice message like as a message, just like you can on an iPhone. But now, in addition to written words and pictures, Hinge now offers a little like I don't know how many seconds, maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds, where you can talk into it. So you can. The example I heard was someone said, "This is my go-to karaoke song," and then started rapping. And I thought that was very cute and clever. So not like, "Hello, I'm Erica, and I'm looking for," nothing like that. Just something to show your personality.
Right. It's interesting because I always say, I wish I could capture the person,
Mhm.
not in the pictures, right? Because when I have clients come to me, and most of the time they come to me for matchmaking, but once
Yeah.
in a while, as you know, and a lot of people know, I do help them with online dating.
Mhm.
And the first thing we do is get pictures done, professional pictures done
Yes.
for their profile. I hate pictures myself. I really loathe pictures. I wish I could do like a 15, 30-second video of like 3D
Yeah. Well,
person,
Hinge allows video too, actually.
which I think is the best idea, really,
I think
because
it's great, but also not a video. Same thing, like not a video like, "Hello, this is my dating video," but more that reminds me of like Love Connection. But more you doing something interesting. Like I used to have a video on my Hinge profile of me. I Before COVID, I was taking adult gymnastics class, and it was me like doing a flip. And that got a lot of interest because it was not just me saying I could do it; it was me showing I could do it.
right, because people do say a lot of things, right?
Oh, I
And
know.
we talked about that probably in the last podcast from my matchmaking podcast, where you literally said, if you don't have a dog, don't put a picture of a dog. If you don't do this, if you don't post a picture, or say you love hiking, and then the person you match with is like, hey, let's go hiking, and you're like, oh shit,
I haven't hiked in 4 years. Exactly.
I don't want to hike. I don't like hiking. Like,
Right.
I always joke about that. My online dating profile would be really, really crappy because it's like I don't like hiking. I do like walks on the beach, but I don't want to do anything strenuous. I'm not
Well,
gonna
we would find the things that you do like and write about those.
see. So that brings me to my next point: more positive, less negative,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. We see so many profiles that might start out well, and then it goes on to a list of things they don't want in a partner. Like, I don't want this. I don't want that. No. Even if somebody is even if someone fits all of the qualities, or however to say that, doesn't fit all of the not qualities, you know what I mean?
Right.
That person is going to be, I don't want to say offended, but certainly not attracted to your profile if it's so negative. So like if someone said, I don't want a tall woman, I don't want I don't want to hook up. Okay, I'm short and might be looking for something serious, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be interested in the person because they've said it so negatively.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's the first thing that I know you see. And I love your Instagram. And for those of you that don't follow you on Instagram, please do.
You must. It's something.
But I love it because most people don't do that. And I've always been the one to kind of like be the mirror people that come to me like, look what you wrote, look what you said. This
Yeah.
is not okay, or the text messages that I get at 9 o'clock. So how does this work? It's like, really?
Yeah. I didn't realize until I started doing what I do, and maybe you'll agree with this, and it's sort of I don't know if it's a sad realization, but I didn't realize that there was such a large disconnect for so many people between what they think they're putting out there and how the world sees them. So I guess that's self-awareness. But when people come to both of us and show us pictures or texts or profiles or whatever that they're planning on using to put themselves out there, and you look at them and you're like, what made you think that this shows you in your best light? It's just so interesting to me how there's a block when it comes to objectively looking at yourself.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And I think also when they are listing all the things they don't want in a partner, I truly think that they're doing people a favor by saying, hey, listen, if you are this, and that, don't contact me because, I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste your time. At least that's what the clients tell me. I'm like, but you're not coming off that way. You're coming
Exactly.
off arrogant. You're coming off as cocky. You're
Bitter.
Yeah.
Negative.
Yes, and just in a way prejudiced against whatever it is that you don't want, So
yeah. And I will say a lot of these people who write negative things, I bet if I were to do a study, and I'm not going to, I bet if you were to poll everyone who has a negative profile, I bet they are mostly recently single, and the things they're listing that they don't want are qualities that their ex has. Because naturally you think you want the opposite. Most people don't want the opposite. Presumably something worked with the ex. But when it's so close to when you've broken up, people immediately think, I need everything that's not that person. I mean, that's all I'll say. It just comes off as really bitter.
That's the word I was looking for. You really do come off very bitter, and it just doesn't come off the way you think it's coming off,
Right.
And so when I put together profiles, even though when they write the intake form, I do like to use a lot of what they wrote because I want it to be coming from them. But a lot of times I can't use it because it's either ridiculous, it sounds immature, it sounds very rude, it sounds negative, or a lot of it is just there's a lot of grammatical errors and spelling.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. I mean, I've always been a grammar sort of person. My aunt still makes fun of me. She says I corrected her grammar when I was 2 years old, which I do believe. But anyway, I feel like I read as a copy editor or a proofreader. Like, I'm surprised when people don't have typos now. And that's such a simple thing because I'm sure most people do know, where a comma goes. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking too much of people, but it just takes a little review or a little hand it to your friend to read. Right. And you would do so much better. But I think it comes down to people not thinking that dating takes work. And it does. And I still don't know why people think someone should just fall into their lap when nothing else in life that's really important is easy. You get laid off, you need a new job, you don't send out a bunch of resumes and go to interviews and they don't work. And you're like, well, guess working's not for me. No. Yeah. So, why do people have that? And I think that's why you get so many of these terrible profiles, because people are just putting them up, they're rushing, and they're thinking, oh, this should be easy. It's not. And I would say any decision that might be for the rest of your life shouldn't be an easy one.
Right. And this is a big one. I mean, I would say this is more important than a job. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on someone's hierarchy of things, but it's really important.
But I mean, and that's what I say too. Like, you really couldn't have looked over what you just wrote just once. Just do a quick little scan of, hey, does this sound right? Does this I know we're all rushing, and I know we're all pressed for time, but I'm always amazed, when I read these intake forms, and that's why I started posting a lot of the stuff, because to me, it brightens my day in a way because it's a laugh for me, but it's also really sad for them because I will look over their education, they're intelligent, they're educated, they have masters, PhDs, but yet she can't even spell Caucasian.
Well,
whatever.
I once told a client that I wasn't sure if we should work together because he was very intelligent, had a great job, but all of his messages were in text speak. You know,
Mm,
like you are instead of you know. And if I'm going to be representing you in your online dating profile, I'm never going to use text speak. That's just,
right.
I'm not going to do that. And so I asked him, I said, do we have a disconnect here? Because if that's how you, and this wasn't a judgment thing, it was more a disconnect. Like if you do write in text speak and that's your thing, I don't feel comfortable because I won't do that. And he was like, oh yeah, I can write in sentences. And I'm thinking, then why didn't you? This is still a first impression.
It's not that hard, especially on the phone. It just finishes your sentences for you for the most part. You autocorrect and spell check. There's no need to have spelling mistakes, abbreviate things. That drives me insane when people, instead of spelling out YOU, they put just letter U.
Me too.
Drives me crazy whether it's a client or not.
Yeah.
And so I totally understand what you're saying, because that would be a disconnect. That would be something that I'd be concerned about, because
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a big one for me. Let's talk about pictures too, because
Okay.
that's a huge one too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and some of the ones you posted too, it's like,
Oh, I know. I'm going to be posting some more today. I have to record the video, but I've been collecting them. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, and I've been doing the same thing, because it's, to me, it's like, really, you've got to have common sense. You're telling me you're a doctor, you have a PhD, you have a master's, you went to college, and there's no common sense. That's why a lot of times what I tell women, especially because women are big sticklers for, I need a college educated man. I will not date anyone who doesn't have a college degree. I will not date anyone who's a blue collar. But I'm like, yeah, but
I can't make that generalization, but yeah.
right. But to me, common sense
Mm-hmm.
is a lot more important than
Oh, I
college.
agree
Life,
100%.
right? Life experience, be able to spell full sentences, full words, you know?
I
So,
agree. That's what I was talking about. I mean, basically common sense before, where what people think they're putting out there isn't actually, or how people think they're going to be perceived isn't how we're perceiving them.
right. Right. So talking about pictures, yeah, I mean, it was hysterical. The half naked pictures, the group pictures. Can you talk more about what you're seeing and what you shouldn't be seeing online?
Okay. Yes. Well, let's start with the positive. Here's what I do recommend. 5 pictures total, except on Hinge, which requires 6. One clear shot of your face, one full body, one of you doing something interesting, whatever that is. And then 2, and then sometimes 3, just others that are representative of who you are. And so, like, for example, if you wear glasses half the time, wear glasses in some of your pictures. If you have a pet, yeah, sure, post a picture with your pet. Here's what I see that should never be used: gym pictures, period. The end. Don't do it. No one wants to see a stranger sweaty. No. The push,
Sweaty, all
it's
that.
gross. The pushback I get from people is, well, don't people want someone fit? Yeah, but they want to see you in clothes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't need your gym pictures to see that you are fit and you shape and you work out. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I know we're still wearing masks. I would not put a mask picture. People can't see your face. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, people just want to see in the pictures who is going to show up on the date. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't overthink it beyond that. All they want to see is this person the person who's showing up when we meet for a drink or a coffee or a walk or whatever. Other things not to do. Pictures with a million other people. I mean, I was looking at a profile the other day, and for a male client of mine looking for women, and every picture was 2 women. I couldn't tell who she was. And at that point, I was like, forget it. Because that's silly. Why would you want, one, why would you want to be compared to someone else in your own profile? And 2, don't assume that people are going to take the time to figure out which one you are. And if they do, they probably like the other one more anyway. People are generally not, what?
I was just gonna say, do you think people are just lazy and they don't want to crop out those pictures,
No.
or the men are showing off these women that they can be with?
No, I think what people are thinking is, well, I want to show I have a social life. I want to show I have friends. I want social proof. And I say that's ridiculous. No one's looking at your profile thinking, well, wow, this person is super attractive and cute and smart and all the things. I wonder if they have friends. No one's thinking that. Unless you have all selfies in the mirror or this, then I might start to wonder, like, don't you ever do anything with people? But look, if someone takes your picture at a restaurant, we presume that someone took it. Like, don't
Right?
worry so much about that stuff. Just be by yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And the mask thing, well, I was thinking about it the other day because I have seen a lot of people pictures with masks. Why do you think people are doing it? I just couldn't figure it out. Why? Were you just too lazy to, like, shave that day or put on some makeup before you took a picture? Why are you posting the picture of your mask? Like, what's the point of it?
Their incorrect rationale is it could be a few things. One, my eye makeup looks really good today. Don't I look cute? Two, I want to show that I am serious about COVID. Three,
Okay.
I want to show that it's a recent picture, so it's within the last year and a half. All of these have faulty logic because one, your eye makeup, it'll still look good if you lower your mask. Two, if it's that important to you to show that COVID's important, just say that you're vaccinated in the profile. Case closed. And lastly, if you want to show it's recent, just post recent pictures. The assumption for better, let's assume for a minute that people don't use old pictures, even though some do. But the assumption is it's a recent picture. If it's really that important to you, hold the mask.
Right. Yeah. Here it is, right here.
That
makes sense.
I get the logic that people are using, but I don't agree with it.
Right. No.
Sorry, I'm being like real tough today.
No. Listen, people need that. People really need that. I feel like sometimes a lot of these things people just don't absorb unless we're tough on them, unless we tell them this is the reason why. I mean, you can do all of that, but this is how you're coming off.
Yes.
So, and you're right. There's most of these apps now, and I've noticed too, is that they have a whole little prompt for vaccinated.
It's great.
You don't have to put on a mask and cover your entire face. You can just put that little sticker or whatever it is. Yeah, most of them are like that. So, and I know I was emailing you questions, whenever I have questions about online dating, you're the person to go to. And it was, so the biggest thing that I was coming across with some of my clients is, like, for example, I have a client right now. She does recruiting for jobs, right? So she's a recruiter and she's very worried about being online because she has matched with some of these people that she has placed into jobs. And it was a little awkward for her. So my point to her was, look, you're all out there, right? He's out there too, not just you. You're there looking for a partner. What is the big deal? You don't want to match with him? Then just swipe left.
Yeah.
Or you can talk about it and just say, ha, we matched on Bumble. Okay, good luck on your job. What's the big deal? To them, it's a big deal. But they also didn't want their profile shown to certain demographics, to certain people. And a lot of these apps, you can adjust, right? Like, so for example, if a woman only wants it to be shown to women, if she's looking for a woman partner. Yeah. And only certain apps you can do that, right? Others, all people, men and women will see it, right?
All of them. No. All of them you specify whether you're looking for men, women, everyone. Yeah. Right. All of them will specify that.
But will they still show it? Because I was working with someone and she said, why am I getting men when all I wanted was women? And
I will say Bumble, I believe, has a glitch because I do see men sometimes when I'm searching for a woman looking for a woman. I don't know why.
Yeah, and that was the other way around too, which was, I was wondering if that may have been a glitch, but I think that's why it's good to report these things to them so they can work.
Sure. Yep, I agree. Yeah. Although I also think maybe the other person filled out the profile incorrectly, which is why they're popping up. But
true, that could be it too. Yeah. So, so what would you say to someone who is just refusing to do online dating, but I may not have people for her or him, and this is their best chance of finding someone, is having me or you help them with online dating, but for whatever reason, whether it's their job or they're afraid they're going to run into their boss or whatever, what would you say to them?
You're not going to like my answer, but I don't think it's my job to tell someone to do online dating. I consider my job, if you're going to do online dating, I want to make sure you do it well and efficiently. And so I never want to convince someone who doesn't want to do online dating to do it. Do I think they should? Absolutely. And I'll say that, but if they're not comfortable, that's not someone I can work with. If they're uncomfortable putting their picture out there, or anything even remotely unique to them, like their industry that they're in, or I just, I can't convince someone. They need to be first comfortable with the tools, like comfortable with the fact that they're putting themselves out there. So, so that's my answer. So I know that's not, I know that's not what you thought. Like, I don't have any like convincing, like, here's why you should do it. I mean, of course, you know, you're putting yourself out there in front of so many new people who you wouldn't necessarily meet otherwise. But I'm sure you've come across people who call you and the first thing they say as a potential client is like, I hate online dating.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
my job to change their mind.
Right. Yeah. 9 out of 10 people say that. I have yet to have meet anyone that loves online dating unless they met someone immediately.
Yeah, it's usually because they had one bad experience and somehow they decide to attribute that to the entire world of online dating.
Right. No, I think it is, for me, it's just so tough because I want to help every single person that comes to me. And a lot of times I can't with matchmaking because
Yeah.
I just don't have those people. So I tell them, look, I can refer you to Erica. I can help you with online dating. This is your best chance. Everybody is on there. You know, everybody and their mother is on there. So but it's trying to get them to open their eyes to the potential of finding someone online. You know, I've had such a bad experience. And so,
I agree. I was just laughing because you said everyone and their mother, and I've actually worked with a mother and son. So,
wow,
yeah, well, first the son, and then he got married to someone I found for him on OkCupid, and then I never knew that because sometimes people they get happy and they forget to tell you. But a year after, he sent me an email. Oh, hey, by the way, got married. Thanks. And then he goes, maybe I'll refer my mom to you. And then he did, and I worked with her.
That's amazing. I love that. That happened to me a really long time ago. It was like 15 years ago. And I couldn't help him, the son, because he was just way too damn picky. I was like, we're kind of done. But I did help the mom. So isn't that funny? And I hope you can help her.
Yeah, she's hilarious. Like,
really?
She hadn't been on a date. You know, she was married for a long, long time. She hadn't been on a date since before she was married. So, like, she's not looking for some lifetime thing. She just wanted to get out there and meet people. And the day she told me, I don't want to be crass, but the day she told me she slept with someone, I was like, woohoo, we did it.
Oh my God, that makes me so happy too. Sometimes I wish they wouldn't do it on the first date, but you know, they're adults and they're going to do what they're going to do, and it's fine.
It's not advice I would give, but if someone tells me they did, I certainly don't shame them. I'm glad they do what they want.
Right, of course. That's awesome. That really is. I mean, there's nothing more exciting than seeing happy ending. So
actually, you know what she really said? She said, I quote, "We jumped each other's bones."
Oh, in like her 50s, 60s. What are we talking? 60s. Wow, I love that.
It's so funny.
That is amazing because, you know, especially nowadays, still women after a certain age, you know, people don't want to hear about their sex life, and people don't want to.
They don't want to tell their friends who are all, you know, married and probably not having the sex life they want. Right? So I'm glad I could be there.
Oh, I love that. That's so inspiring, and it's amazing, you know. But I know we got off topic. I was talking about pictures. Anything else with pictures that people should be doing or not be doing?
That's huge. You covered it.
Yeah, group photos, masks.
I would say make them recent. If you've changed something within the last year, like everyone thinks, oh, I look the same as I did 3 years ago, but we don't, you know, as much as we don't like to admit it. Especially if like you've grown or shaved facial hair or your weight has fluctuated, just put current accurate pictures.
Right. My biggest pet peeve is sunglasses.
Yeah, sunglasses. That's the same as a mask.
Yeah. Yeah, I say that a lot. They send me those pictures and they really, really want me to use those pictures for the profile. I'm like, no, I'm not using those pictures. If you're hiking and you're doing something active, you can put one picture and use sunglasses. I don't want to. I don't like to. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you feel the same way. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they insist. I'm like, oh, I look cute in that picture. I'm like, well, you can't really see anything. You got giant sunglasses.
Or like, or pictures of like their back.
What do you mean?
Like,
Like a naked bath, like a pretty.
no, but like, no, like, look at me looking at the ocean.
Oh yes, yeah. That's I
No.
don't get it. I don't get it. It's
Or like
ridiculous.
just like a profile.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
okay, you have
weird.
a nice nose. Like, I don't know what.
That's very strange. Yeah, I would never do that because I hate my nose, but
That aside,
but people are very confident, good for them, but it's not a great picture. Yeah,
weird. It's just weird.
it is what you know what I have seen a lot is women, younger women. I want to say probably like 25 and younger, with their back, like you said, they're sitting like in a yoga pose, overlooking the cliff or the ocean
Yeah.
or something, and they have those sexy little sports bras with the straps,
Yeah,
all
yeah. Men do love straps. It's true.
yeah, and very low yoga pants. You could see their whole waist. It's very sexy, but I'm like, what is it accomplishing here? What kind of man are you trying to find, and what are you sending out there? I don't get it, but I see a lot of those. I'm like, that's a sexy bra. I don't know.
I don't know.
I know. So anyway, we covered that. You posted something the other day, or maybe it was just yesterday. My days all blend together. About a client who had a great date. It
Mm-hmm.
was a female, I think, right? They
Yeah.
kissed. They
Mm-hmm.
like everything was great,
3 hours. Yeah.
and he unmatched with her. Hasn't heard from him. What is going on, and what do you tell her, and how do you? That's so
Yeah.
sad.
It was sad. So the situation was female client of mine, mid-30s, New York, had this great date. I mean, it was great to her.
Yeah.
Where she said they talked for 3 hours, they kissed at the bar, they kissed as she was getting back onto the subway, and then she went into Bumble the next morning and he was no longer there, meaning he had unmatched her. So for anyone who is listening to this, that means that someone has actively gone into the app and clicked on a button that says unmatched, that makes that person's profile and yours disappear from their queue. Okay. Now, I would say it wouldn't be a big deal because they had each other's phone numbers.
Right.
If he had reached out, I would have been like, okay, well, they have each other's information, so they don't need to be matched anymore. But it was pretty clear to me that he did that right after the date because he decided he wasn't into her. And I have many thoughts about this. First, don't do that. It's very rude. It's
so mean.
If you kissed someone and led them to believe that you were interested, then the kind, courteous thing to do is to say, I had a great time last night, gave it some thought, don't think we're a match, wish you the best. I also think, though, and this is not in defense of him because he behaved terribly. I have a corollary to this story after. I also do believe, though, that in the moment, he was interested in her. I think it happens more for men than women, and that is a generalization, where in the moment, you're having a great time, you're kissing, you're vibing. And then once you step out of that moment, it's not there. And so I do think the interest was genuine in the moment, knowing nothing about him, because I've seen this happen before. Or maybe for all we know, he thought he was going to get sex that night and didn't and decided it's not worth it. I have no idea. So she texted me, like you saw, and said, I checked Bumble and he's no longer there. And I immediately assumed, and correctly, that he was not interested and unmatched her. But what was odd to me was that they had each other's phone numbers. It's not like she couldn't. A lot of people will unmatch when they want to just like skulk away and like be incognito, never to be found again. But they have each other's phone numbers. And so I thought that was strange. So I actually suggested just text him and say, had a great time last night. See what's up. And she's like, no, I'm not reaching out unless he does.
Ugh.
We got into it a lot on this kind of stuff. I'm of the opinion, like, if you have a question, ask. And she always wanted to take a back seat and just wait. So she and I have gone back and forth on that. a number of times.
Well, now I
Anyway,
always say, why wait for the man? Why in today's day and age, 21st century, if you want to,
because she said, and I see her side too. She said, look, if he unmatched me, but he still wants to be in contact, he has my phone number and he can reach out. And I
right,
see that too, and I respect that choice too. So
right.
regardless, he never did reach out. And so that I thought was that. Then this is a corollary I didn't post to Instagram. And I'm sorry this story is taking so long. But
No, I want to hear it.
like a week, I don't know, maybe like 5 days or a week later, she says to me over text, oh my God, he and I accidentally switched credit cards. I have his credit card and he has mine. And
Wow.
I first asked her, and whatever, judge this question if you will. I said, why was your credit card out to begin with? He asked you out.
I was
She
just
agreed
going to
with you.
say, did you pay for your own meal? Yeah.
Apparently, yes.
They
She
split
and I
it.
have gone back and forth on that too. Regardless, I said, just order a new credit card online. Clearly, at this point, she's not reaching out to him. He's
Yeah.
not reaching out to her. I said, just cut it up and say your card was damaged. And she's like, I don't want a new credit card number. And I said, they'll send you the same card if you just say it was damaged. Like, she goes, I'm going to reach out and ask him if he can meet to exchange it. And I said, it sounds to me like you're trying to like start something and don't. It's not worth it. Again, she didn't listen. She texted him, hey, I have your credit card, blah, blah. Didn't mention anything about the unmatching. I would have called someone out on that. But, and then she keeps texting me like, oh, well, I'm going to have him drop it off at my concierge at my building, as if they can't even look at each other anymore. The whole thing was so strange to me. And I said, please just cut the card up and tell him to cut yours up and you'll order a new card. It's like not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Eventually, I got tired of asking. I think she got her card back somehow. But to me, the fact that she was so passive and even when she opened up the line of communication again, didn't ask, like, what the heck happened? I thought we had a great time. Put him on the spot. He didn't care how you felt. So why should you care how? This happens a lot. I'm interrupting myself. Where somebody often, women, I think women, as women, were conditioned to like not rock the boat. I'll get questions from women like, well, I don't want to ask that because, it might hurt, he might not like that. But usually it's asking a question that relates to something she didn't like. So I say, well, you didn't like that thing. No one seemed to care. So why do you care so much how you're going to make him feel? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
do they take your advice?
Some yes, some no. I mean, I can't make people take my advice. I'm pretty, as you can tell, I'm pretty tough love. I would say most people do take my advice because if they've hired you or me, they know they sometimes get in their own way. All I can do is, look, this is not a science. Sometimes I hope my advice is wrong in that if they don't listen to it and do what they want, I hope they get what they want. Like, sometimes I wish my assessment was wrong of a situation. Like if I think someone's not going to contact you again and I tell you that, I hope they do. But I do find that the two pieces of advice I give the most, particularly to women, are you get what you allow. So if you allow it to happen, that's what you get. And two, if you don't know, ask. So many times, like yesterday, I now I can't shut up, but it's because I'm drinking. So this is iced coffee. I'm drinking like late iced coffee because I was so tired today.
I know. No, I'm writing down my thoughts, so don't worry. Go on.
Last thing about this. So I got a text last night from a client. I actually have a meeting with her after this. And she's been out maybe 4 times with this guy. She's like, she likes him, but she's not 100% sure. But you don't have to be. And she said to me, like, he never offers a weekend date. He always offers something during the week. Like, can he ever meet on the weekend? What's up with that? And I said, I have no idea. Why don't you just ask? She's like, oh, no, I don't want to put pressure. I don't want to. Blah, blah, blah. I said, why don't you ask, are you ever available on the weekend?
Yeah, we're always afraid to offend the men. That's a women are conditioned.
Yeah, well, it's ridiculous.
Don't upset anyone. Yeah, which is so wrong. But I would have right away asked, hey, you
so
got
she did. She did listen and she asked, and he was pretty non-committal about the weekend, supposedly about work. But look, if you're going to meet on a Saturday, like just meet on a Saturday night. Are you really working at that time? Look, I don't know what he does, not my business, but
Well, it's a red flag. I mean, to me, it's a red flag if you're dating and you never see that person on the weekend. You know, are you dating multiple people? Are you saving your weekends for something more
right.
interesting,
And
more
that's
important?
fine, but like I'm glad she asked. And
Yeah,
they have a tentative date Saturday. I don't know.
good. Okay, I'm glad. I love when people actually take my advice. But going back to that other woman who got unmatched and the credit card and everything, to me, oh, hi, puppy. Mine's sleeping over here, and I tell everyone that when I record, she always has to sit next to me, and she's always
Oh,
snoring. So you can hear the snoring in the background a little
oh,
bit,
funny.
purring, like cats. But what I was gonna say wasn't. Oh yeah, so that what she does sound. I mean, just my intuition. It does sound like she's a little bit anal, and there's some red flags about her behavior too. That
Oh, I
maybe
agree.
caught on to something too. Maybe it was just as simple as it was a bad kiss. Maybe it was really bad. Maybe
Yeah,
he.
I have no idea. I mean, we could speculate day and night. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. So there's so many things, and people end up turning it inwards and making it about themselves, and they're always feeling like it's something about them. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was totally
Well,
about
yeah.
you. You know?
And
Which,
ghosting is never about the person who gets ghosted. It's always that someone is too cowardly to have to just say to somebody, oh, we're just not a match. I'm just not
right,
interested, whatever. The
right.
sad part with ghosting is that it does make people question themselves. What did I do? Did I do something? When in reality, no, you
Yeah.
didn't.
Well, and it's sad. It's really sad, especially for women, because we're already dealing with so many insecurities, and we're so judgmental of ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves, and when this happens, it's really hard to move past it. And I have there's a reason why so many of my female clients just don't want to do online dating, and it's a little bit safer to go through a matchmaker. You always know where you stand. You're never
Mm-hmm.
going to wonder, is he going to call, is he not going to
That's
call?
true.
So I get it. But if I just don't have those people for them,
Right.
the only thing we can do is online dating, or I can
Right.
reach out to other matchmakers and
Right.
see who they have. But so, I always want people to be open minded, and I always hope they
Me too.
take my advice. And the first thing I tell them is, I can't give you my intuition. You have to listen to your own. And the red flags are always there.
Mm-hmm.
Things are always there. We just don't pay attention to them. Like, for example, I met with someone who spent 5 years with a man. They were going to get married. And I think a few days before the wedding, she finally pulled the plug and they didn't get married. And this is her second marriage. Her kids are grown, and there were red flags, she said, within the first 6 months.
Yeah.
But she kept going because I think as mothers, as women, as
Mm-hmm.
human beings, we just hope people will change. We hope things will get better. We hope the situation will change, or I will help him with that, and he
Yeah.
didn't. It just got worse and worse. And 5 years later, when you're in your 50s or 60s, that's a long time to waste on someone, so to speak. So anyway, the
Do you
other thing
think it
I
was a
want.
waste? Or do you think she now knows what not to put up with next time?
I don't think it was a waste. I do feel bad that she spent 5 years with so-called the wrong person, but that's exactly what I asked her. So, what did you learn from this? So, how
Mm-hmm.
are we going to move forward? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you were 50, now you're 55. Okay, whatever. It's just an age, but how are you going to do things different now? She said,
Mm-hmm.
well, within that first 6 months, when I started seeing those things, I should have asked questions. I should
Yes.
have paid attention. And now I'm not going to do that anymore. So I said, well, there you go. You have to take away positive. Like you said,
Absolutely.
you you can't always think it's hard though. I get it, as a woman who's getting older, as we all get older, it's a long time. I mean, 5 years.
5 years is a long time for anyone at any age. I agree. But she had agency in it. She stayed for the 5 years. But,
Right,
coulda, woulda, shoulda. All we can do, like you said, is learn from our experiences and move forward. We can't go backwards.
right, yeah, exactly. So But yeah, so the other thing I was going to ask you is a lot of times, especially when I help people that are not straight, that may be bi, that may be,
Mhm.
lesbian, gay, uh, the abbreviations and the labels. And that's what
Oh,
I
yeah.
had to learn.
Yeah, me
We
too.
talk about that a little bit, just all the
Yeah, there are acronyms.
English.
There are okay. So and look, I learned as I go sometimes too. So the ones I see popping up a lot, which has nothing to do with sexuality, but has to do with relationship types, is
Mm,
ENM, which stands for ethically non-monogamous.
okay,
Um,
yeah.
I don't necessarily think that's the right term for it because I don't know if it's. I came up with something the other day. I was talking about this to someone, but like
How about why? What does the ethically have to do with it? So
it
everybody
means that
knows,
all parties are in the know.
right? Okay.
Meaning, I mean, it's essentially an open relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and among the two people, I don't know, every couple handles that differently, but you see this acronym a lot on the dating sites now, and it says ENM, meaning they are often it says partnered and ENM or married and ENM
Right.
or poly and ENM. All of that means that unless they say single poly and it's a whole thing, it essentially means that they're in a relationship and they're looking to date outside the relationship. Okay.
Got
Um,
it. Okay.
now, uh, what else? I know I posted a bunch of these
Yeah.
recently.
So wait. Let's talk about that. There was
Yeah.
one you posted which I was dying
Oh
laughing.
my gosh.
I thought, okay,
I don't
can
even
we talk
want to
about this?
say it.
And then I started. So some guy met somebody. I'm not going to mention his last name in case he doesn't want us to talk. Which I didn't know who he was. But he was laughing about what I said because I
Oh
was
yeah.
clueless. You said it was BDE, and in my head I was like BDE. That's an acronym for when Jewish people say when somebody died, it's like may their memory be a blessing, but in Hebrew it would translate to English or something. I've seen
I,
that,
I thought that little conversation was hilarious.
right? But it turns out it's big dick energy. What the fuck does that
Yeah,
mean?
it's ridiculous. First of all, I don't like it because it means, I mean, it's essentially equating having a large, you know,
Right?
penis to confidence, which it shouldn't because men cannot control that. Okay. Regardless, what the acronym means, yeah, BDE, big dick energy, and you're probably going to start seeing it now. I think it's just crass, but
Yes.
it's essentially someone saying that someone has confidence and isn't cocky, but is confident. So like, oh, like you don't say it about yourself. If you do, that's pretty ridiculous. But
But
like
that's what
someone
they
might say, like, oh, look at him. He's got big dick energy.
okay.
I
So
hate it.
I saw it because after we talked about that, I did see that with my female client. We were searching, and it was small lowercase letters on a male profile.
Yeah, yeah. Don't say it about yourself. My God.
That was such a turnoff.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about other ones. GGG.
What is that? Yes,
It's
yes.
a sexual term. It was coined by Dan Savage, who's a
Ah,
sex expert podcaster. Um, good giving and game. It essentially means you're open to most anything with consent in the bedroom or wherever you.
okay, that makes sense. Okay, but there's so
I
there's
also don't like seeing it on a profile because I, as a woman, and I think most women feel this way if they're searching for men, do not want anything sexual to be listed up front because
right.
that makes a woman feel like, ew, he's presenting with sex. He would have sex with anyone. That's his top priority. I think most women would be into what their partner is into once they got to know that person and they like and respect that person. But when you lead with kinky or GGG or all that stuff, it is a turnoff to many women. Not
Yeah,
all, obviously, but many.
I agree.
And there
100.
are sites. Like there is a site called shoot, I'm just blanking on the name. I'll get back to you on that. But there are sites
Yeah,
for
that
anything
is
you want there to be.
specific. Yeah,
And so
specific.
there are sites where that is appealing to a lot of people. I can't
But
it'll come to me.
regular dating sites, yes. And the one thing I do keep saying is, so of course there's fluid and poly and
Well, those are
semi.
different things. Fluid has to do with
Yes,
gender generally, and poly has to do with relationship type. So I don't want to convolute those.
Right. Okay, which is, I keep saying that, and I said it to my kids, like for someone over the age of 40, that is just a lot to ask, to remember, and to understand.
It is a lot. It is a lot. So we have gender, we have sexuality, and then we have relationship type. So like gender, yes, you can be gender fluid. All the pronouns, that has to do with gender. She, her, he, him, they, them. Right. Cisgender just means basically straight. You're born with the anatomy that you present as. And now turning to sexuality, you have straight, you have bi, you have pansexual, which is a little different from bi in that someone, regardless of what the person looks like or anatomy, if they like the person, they like the person.
Right.
You have
demi. What is the demisexual?
Demisexual is, I believe, and check me on this, it's when you can only feel sexually attracted to someone once you feel an emotional connection with them.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm just going to confirm that. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. So, and then there's pansexual, which is that similar to demi?
No, that's what I was saying. Similar to bi. Right. It's just you like a person for a person, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Who they are.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. It's a lot to learn, and it's a lot to understand. And for the most part, it's usually, at least when people come to me, I don't know about other matchmakers, but it's either they're straight, they're gay, or, sometimes it's bi.
Yeah, me too. Most of my clients are straight. Some are gay. There's no exception to that. And I've had a handful of clients who tell me they're bi.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because I noticed that the younger generations, it's almost like just natural to them to understand it and know it and get it. And there's no explanations needed, which is amazing. And I love that. So
it is amazing.
Yeah, I'm always turning to my 16-year-old. I'm like, wait, hold on, before you leave. Okay, demi pan, this. He's like, okay, mom, that just means this, and that. I'm like, okay, but explain that to me again. It's
let's talk through it. So there's LGBTQIA plus. Okay, so L, lesbian, LG, gay, bi, LGBT, trans,
right.
Q, queer, I, intersex. Queer is sort of a more general term for any of it.
Okay.
Like if someone says they're queer, it means they're any of these.
Gotcha. Okay.
Intersex is you're born with parts that don't necessarily conform with male or female. Might be both, might be none.
Okay.
And A is asexual.
Got it. So there was a question, and I actually talked about it on one of the episodes with my co-host, and we were debating this because I commented on a post in our Matchmakers Alliance think tank, whatever the name is. Someone posted about, I have an asexual client, and I'm not sure if I want to take her on, any advice. And so to me, the way she presented it, it sounded like it's newly recent to this client. Like she was not always asexual.
That's interesting. Okay.
Right. So that's where I was like, okay, well, do you want to talk to her about it? And ask her what happened, why she changed, or this and that. And is she open to dating only asexual partners, or what the deal is? And then someone corrected me and said, they actually sent me a Wikipedia page or whatever definition that asexual is not a choice. I'm like, okay, but she just said that it's as of recent. So
maybe she discovered that recently. Okay. Just like people come out later in life. Because I don't believe sexuality is a choice. But and that has nothing to do with gender or anything. Like you can be male, female, gender fluid, anything, and be asexual. So I just want to make sure we're like putting them in the right boxes.
Yes. And I think I'm a different generation, and we grew up in a I grew up in Russia, which was, we didn't know anything of that.
I grew up in New Jersey.
There we go. So, whatever that means, we're so I'm learning and I love learning and
I'm
I love.
learning too. I mean, I'm learning too, and I think online dating has been really good in terms of shedding light on all of this. Like OkCupid, I think was a pioneer in offering so many different gender options, both in who you are and who you're looking for. I would say they were the ones who started, and they have a great ad campaign about all of it. Like you'll have to look it up, but they have a really good, very inclusive ad campaign.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I'm sure I've seen it,
It's like
but
pink and blue and vibrant colors, and it's in a lot of like subway stations.
yeah, see that's awesome. I mean, I think that's great. And unfortunately, I am in a pretty conservative area, so it's I do get very excited when I get a non-white, non-straight, whatever person, because for the most part, the people that do come to me are pretty, straight and white.
Well, yeah, and also there are like matchmaking firms that focus on
Right. They
on
specialize.
LGBT exactly. So
Yeah.
that's why I think you and I don't see a ton, because if there's a specialty, just like if there's this like if I were to find a lawyer, I'd want to go to a small business lawyer, not like a real estate lawyer. I think they probably look for a specialist, which makes
Yeah.
complete sense to me.
Yeah. No, for sure. So
This is great. I'm going to ask you later for this video so I can post it too, because I think it'll be very educational for a lot of people.
yes, well, I'm definitely going to, as soon as I post it, you'll see it. I'll tag you in it. I think it's so important for not just all people, but for particular demographics and generations, like my parents or grandparents, they have no idea what we're talking about. They don't understand it. They don't want to understand it.
Well,
And
yeah, I
I
think
think
yeah.
that's the important key component here, is that you need to want to be understanding and accepting, and obviously just let people be who they are and whatever it is that makes them happy. So
Yep.
we'll definitely talk. I'll definitely post it and tag you in it for
Yeah,
sure.
and I'll be curious, when I post, I want to make sure I got it all right. If I'm saying something wrong, I need to know that too.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Next time I'll bring in Scott, my co-host, and we'll talk about, because him and I just sat there Googling this stuff. And he was
Mhm.
like, wait, did I get this right? No, I think it means this. So we're actually using the internet to try to figure this out. I'm like, we need to bring someone in who can actually break it down for us, because, it is complicated, and
Yeah.
it's okay. But
Yeah.
we're learning. So
I think everyone's learned. I mean, look, who doesn't look up stuff every day? I mean,
all the time, all the time. Yeah. And all I have to do is just turn to my 16-year-old. And for some reason,
it's so funny.
he just knows this. I'm like, well, but how do you know these? He's like, I don't know, memes online, Instagram.
Yeah, I try to keep up with it by when I watch The Bachelor or Bachelorette, since they're all younger than I am, I try to keep up with the lingo, like spill the tea, I stan, I ship them. Okay,
What?
never
What
mind,
is
nothing.
I stand? What is that? What is
Nothing, zero. Just forget I said anything.
No, but I want to know. And I was just saying that the other day, who was I telling this to? Maybe it was another podcast, but I was all dressed up, looking cute. And, my son he goes, okay, are you doing the rate my whatever look? And I'm like, but it wasn't the rate my look. It wasn't rate my wardrobe. He used some weird words. And I'm like, what? What are you saying? He's like, oh, it's a thing. Don't worry about it. You're not going to get it. It's my generation. I'm like, no, I want to know. He's like, forget it.
The
I'm
only
like,
thing I'm not on board with is the jeans. Oh, I think these jeans that are popular right now are so terrible. I think they don't look good on anyone.
are you
Like
talking
the
about
high
the
waisted,
high-waisted?
loose,
Yeah.
short. Ugh, I'll stick with my skinny jeans any day.
It's very strange. It is really strange. And whenever these celebrities go out in the town, then everybody goes out to buy them. See, and that's what I always tell people: dress for your body,
Yeah.
dress what feels comfortable, dress what looks good on you, not what is, popular right now, because that may look horrific on your
Oh
body.
yeah, all these crop tops. Okay, so this is funny. Okay. So I was out
Side
to
note.
dinner, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago at this sushi place, and I was sitting at the bar, and this woman, I don't know how old she was, comes in, and I swear I thought she had no shirt on. She was wearing, I thought it was a bra. And I'm like, did she
What?
get her shirt wet and have to turns out that was just the shirt. This is what people are wearing. They're wearing these like little bandeau, like.
Yeah. I mean, if she's comfortable with her body,
I'm not saying she didn't look good. She looked great. But I was just like in shock. And then that's all I could see. Like I went out, one night and everyone with their bellies hanging out. And look, again, I love that everyone's comfortable with. I'm not even comfortable with that. So anywho.
I get it. Listen, I'm the same way. I mean, my family constantly said you should have your own show, just following people around, because it's like, what? What is she doing? Why is she wearing this? Or like I saw this woman a while. Puppy's not happy today, or he's barking at me.
No.
Maybe it's my voice that is annoying. Hi. What are we barking at? And my dog hasn't even moved. You would think she'd be here. I'm gonna lift to show what she's doing. Can you see?
You're on TV.
She's just sleeping over there. She hasn't.
Sadie. You're on TV. You're famous.
She could not care less. So anyway, I don't know what we were talking about, but so thank you so much. This was really, really educational and fun and funny, as it always is. Let's leave our audience, listeners, viewers, with some, I don't know, advice. Any advice you have for them, those out there dating, online dating, whatever?
Yeah, remember that Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, this is going to take time.
It's a process.
It's a process. You might go on a string of bad dates. That doesn't mean the next few will be bad. It's the luck of the draw sometimes. It is a numbers game. So, chin up.
That's a good one. That's exactly what I tell people. It is a process. And if you think you're going to meet someone the next day,
And then, everyone has a story where they know someone who that happened, and that is an outlier.
Right. Well, it's like that movie. What was that film where it's like, well, my friend so-and-so, he said this, so that must mean, what was that movie? It wasn't Valentine's Day. It was one of those Gary Marshall films. He's just not that into you. I think that was it. Do you remember they kept throwing out these generalizations?
Yeah.
Well, this happened to my friend Susie, and that's why this, and he did this. It's like, well, that was her experience. Yeah. It doesn't mean that that's the rule,
Yeah, agree. So, I remembered the name of that app, by the way, that I was mentioning, that's like more explicit and open-minded sexually. It's called Field. I think it's FEALD. Anyway.
Wow, never heard of that, but that sounds interesting. Hey, that's where these people should be then, Anyway, thank you so much again, as always. Yeah. This is very educational and fun. And you're welcome to come back anytime.
Sure, I'll be there.
We'll put this right up. I'm sure you'll have plenty. So people go and follow Erica on Instagram. It's is it A Little Nudge?
Yep, at A Little Nudge.
At A Little Nudge. Yeah, I'll post it anyway.
Okay.
I'm technologically inept. You're like, can you send me the link now? I'm like, I have no idea how to send the link to record.
I wanted to make sure I was prepared.
2 hours before. Anyway, thank you so much. Love talking to you. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you, guys.